Yesterday we went live and we reviewed a call log, FOIA'd from Celeste Rivas' home address. I actually happen to know that the person that FOIA'd it and put it on Reddit is one of my subscribers. Shout out to Obsidian. And it really revealed different things. Now, you guys remember when TMZ was talking about 11 calls? No, there was so much more going on. And I wanted to just kind of condense that live that we had yesterday where we kind of talk a little bit more about the relevant parts. I'm going to put the codes of the dispatch in the chat so you guys can review those. But we learned a lot yesterday from this call log. I mean, clearly there was a lot going on, whether it was in the home or Celeste running away, or, how involved David was in this situation and other people. We don't know. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you watched this already, this is from yesterday. If you're watching it just now, let me know what you guys think. Let's go. You remember how TMZ said something to the effect of, there were like 11 calls 1 year and everything. So somebody on Reddit, I guess, pulled like a full call log out of the address of where Celeste was staying, or her home address. And overall, I mean, they're going back to 2020 when they were having emergency calls. 2020, 2021, 2022. And the amount of calls in 2024, it's more than 11, okay? Right? This is where she was living at. This is the 911 calls that were coming through, or at least emergency services are what they were calling for, right? There's codes in there, and somebody did write down the codes in that Reddit post. I thought this was very interesting. So like in 2020, they had one, 2021, and then there's a huge gap between 2022 and 2024, right? Like there's no calls. But in 2024, you have calls from like twice in one day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 calls in 2024. 21 calls in 2024. Okay. So then it goes into, all right, we counted 2024. Then it goes into 2025. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And sometimes those calls are twice in one day. 11 calls in 2025. Now, this is what's interesting. The last call, there was a call on December the 24th of 2024, which is what, Christmas Eve, right? December 24th, 2024. And then there's like a huge period, I would say a couple months in between when there's no calls. The last call from that is March 29th of 2025. Okay, so a couple months. All right. Now, when TMZ pulled this information, they didn't really they pulled just 11 calls for 1 year, but I'm like, well, is that all the calls? Was there anything else related? Like, was there anything else that could have, I don't know, whether it's a burglary or whatever, you just never know, right? So let me try to zoom in and make myself smaller. Okay. And see if we can. So let's look at this. So the police came, or at least they were called, February the 15th in 2024. When did Celeste was called missing, right? What it was in 2024, but it was in February as well. Celeste was reported missing. Yes, here's the nature of the call. It's not the R. This is nature of the disposition. I believe maybe R would be run, and then this one right here is NMCIMI, which would mean a minor criminal incident. Okay? Minor criminal incident, and that was on the 15th. And then FU means follow-up investigation. That was on the 15th. So she was first reported missing. Just so I have the exact date. Yes, according to police records, she was reported missing on the 15th of February of 2024. There it is. This is from the LA Time, the Los Angeles Time. So these calls right here, up on that home, that's when they reported her missing. There you go, guys, right there. So I'm going to try to, I can't highlight this, but February 15th of 2024. February 15th of 2024. So this is right here, minor criminal incident, and then FU would be follow-up investigation. And then on the 16th, there was a follow-up call. On the 17th, there was a follow-up call. And then it jumps to February 20 of 2024. Minor criminal incident. Right there again. Then on the 25th, there was a follow-up call. Then on March the 19th of 2024, they had 3 separate minor criminal incidences. This is interesting information. There was a lot going on in 2024, so much so that she had 24 calls into, and that's not spacing there, but it was 21 calls, and that could have been for anybody, but a lot of it is minor incident. If you guys see the abbreviation here, this MNCICRIME is that minor incident. Here's my question is, if she ran in February, okay, why were there continuous minor incident report calls and follow-ups? But the poster still, like, she never came back? Like, was she ever taken off the system? Because it doesn't look like it. Because if that was the case, then they would have canceled out the poster, right? They would have known that, I mean, she would have been home. Unless these are incidences involving another child, which, what is the, I mean, isn't the brother older than Celeste? In California, criminal minor incident typically refers to a crime committed by a minor, which is handled by the juvenile justice system, can range from fractions to serious felonies. The term minor incident could also refer to offenses involving minors, such as contributing to the delinquency of a minor, or crimes where a minor is a witness. In California, crimes committed by minors under the age 14 to presumption against them are subject to a presumption against them being able to commit a crime, though this can be disproven. Okay, so this is related to the age. Kristen, this is a great question. Thank you for asking this. You said all dates add up to social media game. You're right. All dates do add up to social media. So was the video outside of the store in March 2024? Amanda, that's a great question. Remember that video outside the store, like when she's running? What is the date of that? Okay, here it is. The date. TMC obtained footage from a liquor store just down the street from Celeste's family home, taken just after 7 a.m. on March 19th of 2024. Okay, so was there a 911 call or a dispatch call on, March 19th, 2024? There are three separate calls to dispatch on March 19th, 2024. It does match the information, guys. This is what the narrative is, okay? Just so people can read it. TMZ obtained video from a liquor store just down the street from Celeste's home, taken just after 7 a.m. on March 19, 2024. So did they reported her missing then, right? Look at this. Look at the time. 7:57:24. Like, they called twice. I don't know if this is just a duplicate or what, because it has, look at this. Unless it's a duplicate call, but it's, this must be duplicate. Is this 3 calls or 1 call? Yeah. So, like, Miss Aldi, do you see how on March 19th, it's like right above my head, it says 7:57:24. This is like repeated information 3 times. I don't know why. Maybe there's a typo on their Excel sheet. You said it's 3 separate calls because the numbers are different. You said, and it's interesting that you say that, because it says call number right there, right? This TS would give it a different number. That's right, Connie. They could have gotten like disconnected and then called back. That's absolutely right. So that matches, this 319 matches with the liquor footage of her running away. There's that. Look at this. It matches. All right. And then we have there was follow-up on the 26th of March. So I mean, she had a very eventful year in 2024. Please note that, where at least there was follow-up calls and minor criminal incidences happening. March 26th, there was a follow-up. April. Okay, now April, you have April the 1st, 2024. Okay, and it's a follow-up. Now, I don't know if they're making a follow-up from the 19th of March, but April the 1st is a follow-up. And then you have April the 2nd, 2024, another minor criminal incident. Then you have another one on the 5th. Suspicious circumstances. Sometime on April the 24th, 2024, suspicious circumstances. We don't know if that's related to Celeste or something else. I think it's important to kind of note that. And then we have this passing information, suspicious activity. This was in October 30th of 2024. So April, May, and then there's a good break between June and July before another call in August. And then in August, there was no calls between August to December. The last call in December of 2024, it was December 24th of 2024. It's the last call. It's a 242J, which means juvenile related call. And this would be what, Christmas Eve, I believe? Okay, and then there's a huge break, several months in between December 2024 to then the next call is in March 29th of 2025, excuse me, 2025. That's an interesting break there, guys. So what dates was she on the video with the family celebration? That's a great question. I don't know. And didn't they say that that wasn't even her? That was a cousin, or was it her? Did people confirm it? Because I don't know who confirmed it, that it was her. You said the video of her talking to her aunt. I don't know if it's her though. Did we determine, like, who did they confirm it? Did law enforcement confirm it? The thing about this situation is, guys, do we have any confirmed sighting of Celeste by law enforcement or anything like that? Yeah, I believe it's Cynthia. So when TMZ said that there was 11 calls in 2025, they're correct. There's a lot of calls in 2024 too. They didn't say that. When did the incident with the Sureños happen? Do we have a date on that? Remember that footage, the incident where she's like, you know, cussing out the Sureños and she's kind of going back and forth? Put in one in the chat if you guys remember the date. That's the date. It was September. All right, so let's look at the call log. All right, hold up. This is her. She had 2 calls in May 23rd and 24th of 2024. Then there was a break between May to August. We don't know if that was this August call. We don't know if it's related to her. We're assuming it could be. We don't know. And then the next call after that is not until December. So it's there's a lot in between here that we just don't know, right? This is an interesting piece of information. I mean, at least it gives you an idea of all this stuff, but I could tell you, working with youth, this is not a surprise. You know, when kids are running away, or, you know, they're doing different things, or they're wanting to escape whatever's going on at home, this is not a surprise that this is the activity. You know what I mean? That's right. 1 year before she passed, Lori, you're right. But there's no calls in between. I guess what this even tells us at this point is that there was a lot going on in 2024. That wasn't really shared by TMZ. 21 calls in 2024, right? And then 11 calls in 2025. You said her birthday is September 7th, so she was at her mother's arguing with the neighbor. Was the next day? Okay, yeah, that's right. The next day after her 14th birthday. Yeah, but there's Miss North Musings. Thank you. There is no calls in September. Like, if this is accurate, there's literally no calls right there. It's like, it's a break. It's a break. This is an interesting piece of information. I was like, let me share it with you guys. And, you know, I hadn't really looked at it, but, you know, I wanted to talk to you guys and kind of get your ideas about it. Somebody said a lot of minor criminal follow-ups there. Not victim blaming, but it's starting to paint a picture of a young girl who was out of control in the film. Well, and I know people aren't victim blaming or anything like that. Here's the deal, guys. She might have been out of control, but she was still a minor. Does that make sense? And it still does not explain how the hell this child wound up in that car and why David would have contact with this child. Even if people want to talk about, well, she was running around and she was different things, she was still a minor and David was still talking to her, right? Which doesn't make sense. There was a lot going on in Celeste's home, clearly. I mean, this is just such a sad situation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did you guys learn anything new from it? I was a little surprised, you know, just overall the information that we received. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.